So let's turn him over. What on earth has happened to you, mate? Oh, and I probably should have started with this, guys, because this has been an ongoing massive stress issue upon us. And then walk all the way back through here, all the way back through here. Any way to make this more efficient will be very, very welcome. Guys, it is so hot, but look at that green. Look at that green. Oh my gosh, it is so stunning. I don't know what it is. There's something about greenery and woods and greenery that fills me with joy. So it is pretty much water, stream, polytunnel, repeats here at the moment because it has got so hot. Everything is needing to be watered constantly because, as you know, we don't actually have a water source here. We have no automatic irrigation. We don't even have mains water, which is a bit of a bugbear. The polytunnel desperately needs to go up. I'm getting there slowly. I have the frame. I'm making the polytunnel doors today. I've got hundreds of tomato plants sat in paper pots at home waiting to go in. I also have aubergines, I have peppers, I have some other hot crops that I want to get in there. So it needs to be done, and I'm desperately trying to get it done this week so I can plant out next week. And then finally strimming, as I talked about yesterday with the campsite, we are strimming obviously the pitches in and also a pathway for the cars to drive around. And it didn't matter because although the campsite isn't opening for another 3 weeks, we didn't have any bookings for then, so I didn't need to worry about it. Well, that changed last night. So now we have bookings for our first weekend, which is in about 2.5 weeks. So that has to get done ASAP. Now, luckily, the animals are pretty much taking care of themselves at the moment. Now the sheep have been sheared, they are just left to their own devices. I just move the fencing every couple of days and I leave them to it. Again, the chickens and the ducks and stuff are completely happy, left to their own devices. The one thing I will say is I have been really, really bad at collecting eggs in this coop. So we now have a broody muscovy on a heap of eggs. We have 2 broody chickens on heaps of eggs, and I've done nothing about it. So there's going to be some accidental hatches. The problem is at the moment we still don't have our garden gate stand, so I'm still not selling eggs, which means I still don't collect them and label them, and then I leave them in there, and then accidentally things go broody and things start hatching. So whatever, I'm just going to let it happen. I've got other things to concentrate on, and we'll just get some chicks and ducklings. The goats also have got into a very happy routine now. So I come in the morning, I let them out, they come out into this field and they basically mooch around this entire field. But they've now got to the point where come 1-ish, 1:30-ish, they go home. They go back to the caravan for a drink and a rest. So they are pretty much looking after themselves. And then the chicks that we hatched out at home, I have 4 silky chicks and 4 ducklings. They are in the market garden at the moment, just in a little coop that I'm dragging around. And the pheasant chicks, we have upgraded to just a large indoor rabbit cage. Ooh, I walked into a cobweb. And they are just inside this pen. So I didn't want to leave the chicks outside because basically if you open this and one of those chicks got out, they would be gone. This is our grey peacock pheasant aviary, and we've just popped the cage in there so they're double safe. But they're growing really, really, really quickly now. As you can see, there's 4 goldens and 3 reeves. And then really the reeves and the golden hens now have kind of reduced on their laying a lot. So we've decided now we're not going to take any more eggs away. We're going to let them rear a batch of their own. So again, we don't really have to do anything with them now. We can just let them rear the babies. Oh, and I probably should have started with this, guys, because this has been an ongoing massive stress issue upon us. We finally exchanged on our house. So for many of you, you'll know the saga, but very briefly, we sold our house over a year ago. We quit our jobs, took out a tenancy up here, the house sale fell through, and we've gone through another buyer since then and pulled out of that, and then finally got another buyer. We have finally exchanged. We complete on the 21st, so that's just a couple of weeks, and then that means we get money. So we have started to order stuff. So we've ordered brand new gates for all of the paddocks, and for the camping site as well. It means that lots of your donations that you've sent our way, I can now put into action because I've got some extra cash to kind of make up the projects. And it just means we don't have to think about that house sitting there empty that we're still having to pay bills for, even though we haven't lived there for a year. So that is very exciting news, and I'm thrilled. I won't quite believe it until that money hits my bank account, but when it does, I feel like that kind of part of our life is finally over, and then we're here. We've still kind of had one foot in that old life, and it's been holding us back, but now we can just breathe a sigh of relief and move on. And that's why I had the funds to buy that brand new strimmer. And today I've been looking at a water pump, just to make our watering of the garden a little bit easier. Now the long-term plan is to get water piped up here because we need fresh drinking water for our house when it's here eventually, but also for harvesting and washing crops. But for actually watering the market garden, I kind of want to use the pond. We're really lucky, although it started dry this year, it really then got very wet for several weeks and it filled the pond up massively. So here is the market garden, and then if we just go across my little bridge to next door, there is our pond. This is our second pond. Our main pond restoration pond is way over there, but this is our second pond. So the plan is to get a pond pump, so a water pump, that we can drop into the water, and then I can pump the water across from the pond just through a hose pipe across here, just so that I can actually then access water here. I found a battery powered one, which is great. It's not going to be hooked up to an automatic drip line or anything like that because I need it on all the time, but it will just mean that I can turn it on, I can pump water across through a hose, I can fill up buckets, because at the moment what I'm having to do is get my watering can and my buckets and walk from here all the way across here, all the way across to that massive ash tree, fill up my buckets with water down there, and then walk all the way back through here, all the way back through here. That is taking me a long time at the moment, and barely any of the market gardens actually planted. So any way to make this more efficient will be very welcome. So I noticed earlier when I was putting these guys away after their free ranging in the morning, that Angus seemed to have some rawness and some red on his belly. He seems perfectly fine in himself, but I just want to grab him and take a look because I think he might have injured himself. So we'll grab him, have a little look what's going on, and then treat it if necessary. Of course, you can't get anywhere with these goats unless you've got some food, so I'm going to distract the main bunch with the food, grab him, and see what's up. Come here. Jock. No. Now normally with goats I would stand them, I wouldn't flip them, but I'm on my own, so I'm going to have to flip him. So this is our lovely Angus here. So let's turn him over without killing myself with your horns. Jock, lie down. It's all right there, Betty. It's all right. Move your horns out my way. So I don't know what he's done, but he's pretty raw. You can see there's pus here, and I always say there's kind of two types of infection. Pussy infection isn't too bad because it kind of shows me that the body is responding to fight off infection. So this is obviously white blood cells, and it's just like when we get a spot on our face. But obviously here, this isn't great. He's obviously rubbed himself raw, maybe jumping over something, or don't fight it, maybe jumping over something or a headbutt. And then obviously because it's underneath, every time he lies down, this is obviously on the ground and it's more likely to get infected. It doesn't look too bad. It's dry, so it's obviously trying to heal. But I guess it's also in a place where he moves around quite a lot, so you can see it's started to scab, but there's fresh blood where the scabs are breaking. So he's also got a tick, just realised. There's a nice big tick over here, so we'll get that out afterwards. But for now, we're just going to quickly spray that. Doing this all one-handed. It's interesting. So I haven't got my spray. I've only got Stockholm tar with me. So we're going to throw some of that on, and actually it might help a bit better because it will create a better barrier. The goats just love to destroy stuff. Oh my goodness. There. Here's my tar. Let's just... I know, buddy. I know. Don't kick that over. I know. So the nice thing about this is it creates a good barrier against infection. What on earth has happened to you, mate? And then we might try and get this tick out, which is obviously, it has made a little bit of a, it's been sucking for a while, I think. I'm going to put the camera down so I can get that tick away, and then we'll talk about this. Now, although that wound looks pretty rough, it is kind of just a surface problem, and the skin has started to heal and the body's started to heal already because of that pus you could see, and that's all the body's white blood cells rushing to the area to fight off infection. In this heat though, and quite humid and flies and things, it could well be attacked by flies and maggots. So it's good to get that tar on. The Stockholm tar is also an antibacterial, so it will stop bacteria and stuff getting in. And hello down there. And it just means that when he rests and he lies down, dirt and debris and dust isn't going to get into it. The other thing obviously to look out for is his wellness. He's a young wether. He's only a year old. He's happy, he's frolicking around. The only reason I noticed it was because I just saw it behind him. Obviously if he looked ill, was lethargic, didn't want to get up, didn't want to eat, things like that, then more drastic action is needed. But I think it's literally just a surface graze. Who knows how he did it? Maybe trying to jump out of here, maybe you're out in the fields, or maybe he got a horn to the groin. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll add more tar if necessary. I would think because of where it is, I'll probably have to put tar in every day just to keep it sealed, but he should be fine. So the past 2 mornings I've come up and the rams have all been out. And tonight I've tied up the fencing, and they're not very amused. They've been smashing this side of the fencing out and then coming round. So Monty is currently down there trying to work out how he can bust out. Good luck, buddy.